Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me as always is Trevor Scott.
Hello.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
This is the first episode of 2020. The futuristic year of 2020.
Especially because it's recorded on like the 17th of December.
Don't give away the secrets. Yeah, welcome. We are going to do something a little bit different tonight because our usual random word generator is down.
Yay!
So we're going to take TV shows and movies, and we've done this a few times in the past, but we're going to take some existing properties and existing movies or TV shows and think about the games that probably shouldn't be made about them, really, tie-ins, and we're going to see how we go. So, do you want to go first, Trevor? Do you have something in mind?
I do. I've got a couple of things in mind. I think the first one that we'll go with is one, I can't remember if I've mentioned this before, but the good old movie Arachnophobia.
Ooh, yes. Okay. Steven Spielberg.
Yep.
Okay. So this is a movie, for those who haven't seen it, where there are spiders and they are fucking scary. And then there's a big spider and fire and a nail gun, and that's all I remember. Mm-hmm. All right. Is this... What sort of game is this then? Is this like some sort of arcadey shooter where you're killing waves and waves of spiders? Or is this more of a slow tension horror kind of thing?
A slow tension horror where you, as the spider, are trying not to get caught.
Okay.
So you're going around trying to kill as many people in this town as possible.
Okay. So I think...
so if you remember the old game Aliens vs. Predator, where you had like the three different campaigns that you could do. Like you had the alien, you had the predator, and you had the marine. So in this, you've got like the spider that can crawl up walls and shit. And you're like looking for a mate, basically, to make your nest. And you're looking for your nest, sort of thing, where you're going to position it. Mm-hmm. And then you've got like the Exterminator's like campaign, you know, where he's being brought along and trying to do that. And then you've got like your Jeff Daniels. I think it was Jeff Daniels, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yep.
So you got your Jeff Daniels, new doctor, who's now been christened as Dr. Death because everyone that he sort of handles, you know, totally dies.
And that's just because the spiders are like hanging around with him.
Yeah.
Like he's spreading them in some way. Okay. I like this. The Try campaign.
Mm-hmm.
They're like happening simultaneously, as in you like the same time frame?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And do you play them one after the other, or are you switching back and forth?
I think it's kind of like if you think of StarCraft, where like you play one campaign, and that's like one particular thing. You're going through all these different places. You're doing that whole thing, and then you move into your second campaign, and that's...
And I mean, look, obviously the spider campaign is going to be a lot different than either of the other two.
Oh, yeah.
This also makes me think about a little bit of... Did you ever play that old game, Giants, Citizen Kabuto?
Yes, I was just thinking about that the other day, and I fucking loved that game.
Yeah, it was a flawed masterpiece. It was buggy
completely
as fuck,
flawed, and you can buy it on GOG. And I got this close to actually buying it on GOG the other day.
But the big thing of that is, I think I did have the three different character types, didn't it?
Yes.
You started as like just a sort of standard sort of infantry-ish sort of person with a jetpack. You got to play as the giant.
That was at the very end.
That was the end, was it? And then the second
like
one
the
was
amphibian,
some sort of
amphibious sort of character. Yeah. Did you ever actually play all the way through it?
I don't think so.
Because, spoiler, the giant that you play is actually the same character that you play in the second part. Oh, turns out that she turns into that.
Okay. All right. Well,
so,
anyway, along those lines, there's three very different gameplay styles as well. So the spider is obviously very stealth-like. Are we talking to the level of, like, vision cones and stuff? Like, you're trying to stealth your way into places to, like, get somewhere, like, into a car so you can get somewhere where you can kill someone else. Like, do you have a target? Like, are you an assassin? Like, what's your goal?
So I think your first goal is, you as the big spider, is you're in South America, I should say, and you're trying to, like, make it into like the pack, and then because basically all these people have just killed all your family.
Right. Okay.
So you're basically now you're going on a vengeance thing of they've just killed all your family in that giant tree. You are going out for a walk to forage for shit, and you come back and all your family's like dead in the bloody in all the butterfly traps and all that sort of stuff.
Right. This is what happened in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't really remember.
Oh yeah,
based on Wikipedia,
absolutely love this movie.
I think I've seen it maybe twice. Seriously, it may be one of the things that gave me my own case of arachnophobia, which is it's not as bad as it used to be, but this movie was fucking scary for a kid, particularly.
But when I watched it at 13, the only part I jumped at was when, like, the spider was crawling around the inside of the lamp. And then the lady went to, turn off the lamp and, the spider drops down and bites her on the wrist.
Me too, obviously, because that fucking scene is seared in my brain.
Yeah. Same.
Okay, so are we following, like, how closely are we following it? So, like, based on this, the spider kills kills one of the scientists. Kills the nature photographer, it says.
Yep.
And then he's in the coffin.
And then sneaks
and that's how
into his coffin and... like,
so is there a scene, is there a mission where it's like, get into the coffin?
Get into the coffin, yeah.
Like, make your way through this camp in the Amazon, don't be seen by birds or other people, get in the coffin.
Yeah. Well, kill the guy, then get in the coffin. Because you bite him first.
I guess so. Maybe you just bite him over an open coffin.
Yeah, so
right, that's fine, and
that's like mission 1.
And it's are we talking like, what's your traversal like? Are you fucking Spider-Man, like firing webs out and being able to swing around, or are you literally just crawling through the brush?
Crawling through the brush, you can crawl up vertical surfaces. You can basically traverse anywhere that a spider
hitch a ride on things that are moving as long as you aren't seen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Spider goes wherever a spider can.
Yeah, literally.
Does he swing from a web? No, he can't because he's a spider.
No, he can't because he's not a breed that does that.
He doesn't even have web spinners.
Doesn't have a spinneret. All right, so okay, that's cool. So you come back and then you've got missions. So like you said, you're trying to get to the prime nesting spot. Do you have missions for, like, do you have to fight like other spiders and shit? Are you sort of taking over the ecosystem a bit?
Yeah, I think you've got a little bit of a tower defense thing of, having to save your nest from like different predators.
Oh, you've got to find a mate,
stuff.
Right? Because I'm reading here again that the Amazonian spider mates with just a local, the domestic spider.
Yeah.
And then all of its children are lethal, have lethal venom as well.
Yep.
Right. Cool.
And for some reason, like, there's a general sort of spider, there's a queen spider, there's, a few of the big spiders for some unknown fucking reason, and then there's a whole heap of tiny little ones that don't have any, like...
Magic Dino, whatever.
So I think, you gotta have, like, those... Like, there's a scene in the film where you actually see the spider go from the barn and then drags, like, this big nest along with them as they're dragging it actually to underneath the house. That sort of stuff.
Okay.
So I do like the idea of, there's like that mission where you got to stealthily get your nest from the barn into the into the house or into the basement.
Yeah. So is this purely... Because presumably there's some, like, human biting fun in here. And do they just, like, drop dead? Are you having to, like, Hitman-style drag them into the bushes? We could just go like super comical with this. Because I'm just trying to think of like if you're just literally a tiny spider trying to avoid sight from people, like that could get tedious. But yeah, if it's like timing to drop down and bite people, you know, but then they get discovered or something, like where are the sort of classic stealth elements coming into this?
Well, I think you get to sort of like a Call of Duty where you get to play different characters within like this campaign sort of thing. You get to play the different spiders out.
Different spiders, yeah.
Out in the world, you know, sort of sneaking underneath, in between, like, all over magazines and that sort of stuff, like on people's floors and, you know, sneak under someone's bed and, you know, maybe hide in the slippers. You know, kind of like there's actually a scene where they hide in the slippers. And, you know, then there's a scene where you got to sneak between all the bleachers to get into a helmet so you can actually bite the guy on the neck and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, I sort of get how the spiders will work. So let's switch over to the others. So the Exterminator, is this like literally more of just a fucking shoot and destroy kind of missions? Yeah. Are you like going through different houses trying to find the source of this, perhaps?
Well, you just go where you've been asked to go and you're looking for, you know, what you're being told to clear out. So it's you, John Goodman, being asked to you know, clean out a cockroach nest. Oh. Yeah, it was John Goodman. Yeah. Oh yeah, there were some pretty good people in this.
Oh yeah, I mean like, it was a big budget thing, really, like to a certain degree. I mean, or at least high profile.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely love the film.
I need to watch it again now.
Yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, I just think, you know, you go out and you're dealing with all these different calls, and then you get called out to this one area where all of a sudden you're going up against these spiders. And I think one of the coolest things from the film is that, you know, you spray one of the spiders that you see and nothing happens. Like, it continues on, and then you spray it again and it stops, and then it continues on, and then you get to stand on it, sort of thing. Yeah. And then later on, you know, you get the high profile stuff that, you know, absolutely burns them like acid sort of stuff.
Right. Yeah, you have to like cook up the better stuff. That's part of that arc of that character. Yeah. And then I think then is the Doctor more of like an investigative role almost? Investigative.
I think he gets, you know, you're like, you know, he's trying to work out what's actually causing all these things, and then you find out that it's actually spiders and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. My turn, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm clicking. So I'm actually looking at TV shows because I thought maybe there'd be something interesting there. Unfortunately, a lot of TV shows are really just like people talking to each other, which is fun to watch sometimes based on their relationships and things, but it's hard to turn into a game. But so the first one I came up with, and because I haven't found a new one, let's just do that. It has some interesting elements and some action and that sort of thing that we could probably think about turning into a video game. And that show is 24 with Kiefer Sutherland.
Ooh. I think there was actually a game based on this.
I think there was. But we can take our own, we can have our own take on it. I don't know what that game did with the real-time aspect of it, but I think leaning into that could be really cool.
Ding.
Yeah. I'm almost thinking...
It's a 24-hour period of which you've got 24 hours to stop this thing.
Yeah.
There is information that you get told about along the way, and, you know, you're trying to basically... You've got this amount of time to actually complete that objective.
Well, and I think, basically, the game is played through in real time, and certain things... And I don't know how troubling this is going to get from a branching perspective for different events occurring, or whether you just fail if you don't do something by a certain time, right? But I think you've very much got that ticking clock showing up here and there, and that time pressure of these scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think the obvious way to go is like a third-person action shooter.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually thinking maybe a bit more almost like a bit of a Hotline Miami or something. Do you know what I mean? Like a bit more of a top-down-ish or an isometric, but still relatively action-based. But maybe just sort of slightly more tactical in the sense of you can sort of see a bit into the room and scope out where people are before you attack, so you can kind of come in and like bang, 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 like take them down quickly. And I feel like that kind of fits in with the whole Jack Bauer method, in that way.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So I never actually watched the show. So what can you tell me about,
yeah,
like, do they actually show everything within this 24-hour period? So is there 8 hours of someone sleeping, or is there...
Well, yes and no. I mean, Jack basically doesn't sleep for the whole 24 hours. Mm-hmm. Generally what happens, because I don't know how many seasons, I don't think I watched all the seasons, and they did a later one, like a reboot-ish sort of, or not a reboot, but like brought it back at some point, I think. But pretty much how it happened is like in the first hour, Jack Bauer is just living his normal life, and then he finds out some shit's happened. And he worked for like a counter-terrorist agency. Mm-hmm. CTU, counter-terrorist unit. And yeah, then basically in real time, they would sort of cut between different characters in different places and show what was going on. And the idea was that, it was all happening exactly at that time. But so if someone was asleep, they just wouldn't cut to them.
So what actually happened during, ad breaks?
It was generally, they just put them in a point where nothing interesting was happening, sort of thing. So it actually
would come back 3 minutes later?
Yeah, it would come back. Like, going into an ad break, they'd have the countdown timer. Dink, dunk, 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 dunk. And then it'd come back and they'd show it immediately again, and it was about 3 minutes later.
Yep.
And you just assume nothing of interest happened.
Every time, every 10 minutes or so, Jack would say, gotta take a shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single time, you start thinking, oh God, something's really wrong, because he keeps on coming back, sort of adjusting his belt, and you could hear a toilet flushing in the background.
It's like fucking Married with Children. Like, just the toilet flush comes out.
Every single goddamn time.
What we could do, I like the idea of that we fuck with people. It's like, oh, all right, there's this new 24 game coming out. They play it, and they play for an hour and a half. It's like, yeah, all right, it's exactly an hour and a half later after I started. This real time thing's really cool. They turn it off and they go to bed, and they wake up and the time's still been going. They turn the game back on, and it's 17 hours in, and everyone where you were is just running around like crazy because Jack's just been standing still for 13 hours.
They're taking you to the hospital.
You wake up in the hospital. It's like, oh my God, you were in a coma for 15 hours. What happened? You've only got fucking 9 hours left to solve this problem, or the nuke's going to go off. And then you can't even restart the game until that whole time is up, and it's 24 hours, nuke went off, you failed. All right, you want to try again? And it's like, oh fuck, I guess I need to set aside 24 hours to potentially finish this game.
A speed run is literally 24 hours. You can't speed anything up.
Well, the speed, maybe you can solve it quicker than that, but you can't win it until that 24-hour period. So the last 8 hours of a speed run are just Jack's playing video games. With the terrorist,
Grand Theft Auto 5.
With the terrorist tied up behind him. It's well, they're not going to set the bomb off. I got him already.
So you can just go to sleep, and so you go to sleep, and then you wake up and oh my God.
But yeah, no, more seriously, I kind of like that idea of a more top down / isometric, or maybe even a little bit like the John Wick Hex that came out recently. That was turn based. I'm thinking more
real time,
but with a bit of, you can take cover at a doorway, right? And you can kick the door open and you get a view inside, and now it's okay, I know one person there, one person there, one person there.
Yeah.
And maybe you've got some skills you can use of just take down up to 3 people, the closest 3 people when you burst into a room or something, right?
I kind of like the idea. I kind of like the idea that that the health system is more like the health system from, say, Uncharted, where bullets aren't actually hitting you.
It's like
Uncharted,
a peril
it's
meter?
actually more of a luck meter sort of thing.
Yeah.
You're not getting hit until, when you get
until your
so
health
far
hits
down.
the bottom, that's when you finally get hit by one bullet that kills
it
you.
recharges sort of thing over time. So, it's extremely lucky.
It's your Bauer meter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How Bauer-like you are.
How Bauer are you? It's your Bauer wow. No.
Oh, God.
But yeah, I like that kind of semi-real-time tactical sort of thing where you can sort of crouch up to cover, but then you've got these special sort of moves you can use, and you can kind of scope things out a bit, and like they may not be directly attacking you because you don't know where they are. So it gives you a bit more of that tactical sort of thing. And then you've got sort of story-ish sections as well, or stealth sections and stuff where you're going along, and one of the guys is like, "Wait, what's that sound? I heard something going dunk." Dunk, dunk. And Jack's like, fuck, my watch. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's my turn now.
Yeah, let's jump on to something else.
I think we may have done something around this before,
That's
but
all right.
again, I'm planning on taking it in a different way.
Sure.
The Good Place.
Ooh, okay.
But
I am caught up now, so you can't spoil me on it unless you've read ahead somehow.
How good is it, by the way? Like, they've done such a good job in this.
It's the best show.
season.
And I'm glad that they're finishing it up because they're just going to have a great arc and it's going to be done.
Yep.
We should probably not base it on, like, much in the later season or two.
Oh, no. You are, like, a bad place architect.
Yeah. Cool.
And your whole thing is, like, creating, you get to create your neighborhood, you get to torture the humans, and it's basically like all the bad parts of The Sims.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay.
The whole idea is that, you've got to keep on torturing these people, and whether you keep it that you're Michael and you're trying to keep them, thinking that they're in the good place, or whether, you can go all out, like torture and
well, I think I like the idea that. Okay, so because I really like the idea that this is a world where Michael's, good his neighborhood torture system has taken off. It's like, all right, this is how we're torturing people now, and so
it's
you
just
get
all the
assigned, and you get assigned. No, I think you get assigned 4 random people. I don't think it's got Eleanor and Chidi and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you get assigned 4 random people. You've got their dossiers. You can see if they've had any relationships like previously with each other. You can go like you could literally randomly generate like their entire points history. That'd be cool.
Yep.
And you have to, you are coming up with ways in a very Sims-like or management-like, in a very Sims-like or management-like fashion to torture them.
Yep.
And I think you get more points if it's like psychologically torturing them, but you can just do things like
flatten their penises.
Well, I think maybe there's a bit of a congruence meter where they have to accept it as the good place still, but you can over time bring in more and more things that are more obviously torturous.
Mm-hmm.
But like if it comes in slowly enough or there's a good reason for it, then they won't think it's out of place.
Yeah, whereas but what I love about it is that at any time that you think that things aren't going well, and then they reveal to you
it out.
You just hit the reset button and you start it all over again with the same people.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that too, because you can learn as you go. So yeah, like the first time you might try to bring out the fucking boiling hot oil, bath or something immediately, and they're just like, this doesn't seem like a good place. What the fuck's going on? Oh, we're in hell.
Oh, this is the bad place. Bink.
Yeah. You get Michael's little fucking cackle every time though, because I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
that's cool.
I really like this idea. I just think it's like having to take like the Sims sort of characters and just totally fuck with them. Well,
and that's what people did. It's like leaning into what people already did in The Sims.
Yeah.
So like they go for a swim in their fucking amazing pool that they that you gave them, and they're like super happy, and then they try to get out, and they're like, "Where's the fucking ladder? What's going on here?" Do you go along the lines then, though, again, because of the sort of congruence thing, do they realize they're maybe not supposed to be there? Or does one of them? Or is that just maybe a trait that one or more of them may randomly have?
Yeah.
Where they think that they're there by mistake?
Yeah. I think there's no reason why that couldn't happen. And, there's some sort of... each character has sort of like you can have, a line of something that they've been programmed to go down, sort of like Brent with the bestest place and all that sort of stuff.
Well, I think maybe because like Chidi and Tahani, like they accepted that they were supposed to be in the good place, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Jason and Eleanor didn't really. Yep. And I mean, Jason particularly was like knew enough to keep pretending to be a monk for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Spoilers. If you haven't watched fucking Good Place Season 1, hopefully you figured that out already, that we would be spoiling. But yeah, I think that's almost a trait then of these randomly generated characters you get of they don't think they deserve to be there. For whatever reason, it might just be low self-esteem. It might be literally they are a murderer, whatever. And that could be sort of another aspect that gets generated. And then some people do accept it and they're like, I've been mostly good. Okay, that's fine. But that affects like what they will accept,
Yeah.
In different ways. So yeah, that could be really cool.
Yeah. You can actually set up, like a party that's going to go down and you choose certain things that happen from the party to cause chaos the next day. And
right. Yeah.
And, that's sort of like the psychological torture for one of the characters who doesn't think they belong there.
Sorry, you can like build up this neighborhood. You can grow it. You can grow it as you like, but it's all powered by the Janets, right?
Yep.
And I'm just picturing like you start building your base too big. It's like you must build more Janets.
You must build additional pylons.
Additional Janet, yeah. Damn it, fuck additional. I was looking up the damn quote because I couldn't remember it. Yeah. You must build additional Janets. You must construct additional Janets. Yeah, I like that. But yeah, I do like the idea as well that you've just got all these Janets going around and like building the stuff for you. They're almost like your little worker bees in some of those building games like Prison Architect and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really fucking cool.
It is.
That would be fun.
Cool.
That would be really fun.
Okay. I've got one.
You got one?
Yep.
All right. Let's do it.
Jumanji.
Okay. This is timely. There's a new one coming out.
I know. I'm going through literally movies coming out.
All right. Are we doing original Jumanji with the board game? Are we doing or are we doing like a tie into the new Jumanjis where it's, or at least I haven't obviously seen the new one, but the newest one, but the sequel, which was a video game.
I'm kind of thinking the original Jumanji that we all know and love. Maybe it's just based on like Alan Parrish's time inside the game, if you know what I mean.
Wait, so it's not even okay.
Like the survival sort of aspect that he had to go through.
Okay, so these are like the missing fucking 30 years.
Yep.
Of Alan Parrish in the game.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we could make up some stuff here, right? In that maybe other people did play the game in between. They just didn't get him out. Right.
Just the whole thing about the game is that, like, the movie is that, like, they're still playing. 2 more people join in, and then they're going to go get the other girl. So no.
Well, I'm just trying to think of how we can even bring other characters into it then, because it might just
there's other characters in the game, like,
I mean, there's the hunter.
Yeah. So he's sort of like your predator, sort of going after you, sort of character.
Yeah. So is this a like survival?
Yeah, survival horror
like
game.
The forest type of game where you're building stuff and finding. Okay, all right, but it's just Jumanji. It's Jumanji.
Yeah.
how do you bring in the Jumanji aspects then?
Well, I think it's like you're going through. You arrive as a sort of youngish boy, in like the jungle at night, sort of thing, and you got this big action sequence of having to run away from, stampeding rhinos or something like that, and then you build your shelter, and that's sort of like the end of this, and then it goes to like a few years later. And it's showing, okay, now you've got your sort of like daily tasks of you go out, you get food, you get water, but the hunter's now chasing you or something like that. Like you just pick, cherry pick some.
Yeah, I could see that. I guess I wonder if you want to go fully down the whole, I'm building up my, my camp kind of idea. Like, do we want to literally do like crafting and like managing your tools and stuff?
Yeah, I kind of see that every year you go through like 1 or 2 days, and that's basically you're set up for the next year. Like how well you do depends on how well your next year actually goes.
Well, okay, and I like that because I like the idea of, because obviously one of the big draws of that game is it's like I get to set up this camp and everything and survive the way I want to or the way I think should happen.
Yeah,
but seeing that then over time and kind of. You come back a year later and, like, there's a bit of wear and tear on stuff and, like, the things that you have placed down, like, now there's growth up around them and, like, they look a lot more kind of embedded.
Worn in.
Yeah, they're worn in, exactly. That's kind of cool. And then, you kind of get to build. And, I mean, we don't have to explain why he hasn't built anything for a year, but, you get to, like, play the next section.
You're coming in and nothing really has happened. He's just sort of survived doing the exact same sort of stuff that you were doing in the previous day.
Is it based on, like, if
like
you
a
haven't
set piece happens?
If you haven't set up defenses well enough, like, can you not survive that year?
No, you're always going to survive. I think the thing is that you're always going to survive, just how well you've actually...
Maybe it's like how many supplies you have.
Yeah.
Like when you come back and, like, what your health is or something. Like, maybe you've been attacked a couple times, and so, you've, like, got an injured leg, and so now you're going to have to... One of the extra things you're going to have to do in this period is like, make sure you've set yourself up to heal over the next period, and that's going to maybe take time away from something else that you could be doing otherwise. That's cool. I like that, because then I can see, the balance of building... defenses and supply gathering, traps for meat and different things. Like, you can't build, like, getting the correct balance for getting to the next year with, you get there and it's like, oh, good, I've got 40% health and, this much storage of meat and, my tools are still mostly intact or whatever. Whereas if you get that balance wrong, it's like, well, I've got a fuckload of meat, but... like I'm close to death because I didn't set up enough defenses and like the hunter shot me or whatever.
Yeah,
that's cool. I could see that being really cool.
I do like that.
And then you just see him growing up over time, and you even get some little homey aspects there, like you set up some decorations and you get some more aesthetic things that you can craft and build over time.
Yeah, and I just like the idea of like what they did in the new film. Well, not the new film, but the old new film was that they showed the tree house where Alan Parrish actually lived most of his time. That's right. They
found, like, the guy who'd been in there found it. Yeah, like he'd been in there for a few years or whatever. I can't remember exactly, but he'd found it and he used Alan Parrish's stuff to survive. Yeah.
So I kind of like the idea that there are, there is a civilization nearby.
So you will get some remnants. You'll get some remnants of previous people who have been stuck in here.
Oh yeah, yep.
That'd be cool.
I like that.
You get some history from like the fucking 1800s.
Oh yeah, yep.
That's cool.
That is really cool. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, good. I like it. Fun. All right.
I wonder whether we could sort of do what they used to do to a lot of old Disney films.
Okay.
And make like a side-scroller.
Yeah. But for something modern.
The movie Coco.
Okay. So
I have a feeling that's sort of ripe for an adaptation of...
Sure. All right, I like that idea of going for... So let's imagine a world where 3D movie technology has gotten to the point where they were able to make Coco, but video game technology has only made it to the Super Nintendo.
Or the Sega Mega Drive.
Or the Sega Mega Drive. That era, that generation of consoles. So, yeah, we're talking a side scroll up, maybe with some cool, like, fake 3D kind of stuff that was so
like
impressive
a Mode
at
7.
the time. A Mode 7 thing where, like, maybe going across the Flower Petal Bridge or something, coming into the screen, kind of like the Lion King did with the Stampede scene or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So who do you play? Do you play what's the boy's name? Miguel. Do you play Miguel? I think probably makes no sense. I think that's where the old Super Nintendo developers would go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's think of some of the levels then. So your first level is probably in Mexico, like
in Mexico,
running through the streets, like with your guitar or something, right? Because it's the sort of first
Day of the Dead festival.
Well, even before that, you probably got that scene where I don't know. You've I'm trying to remember. Isn't there a scene early on where he when is it that he's playing the guitar of the? I
thought that was
is that on the
Day
festival?
of the Dead.
Okay,
that was because that's when he finds out about on the Day of the Dead festival. He finds out that his grandfather had Ernesto's famous guitar, and that's where he sort of decides that he's going to break into the mausoleum and take the guitar and play it and all that sort of stuff. So I think you've got sort of like just a side-scrolling thing where you're sort of like running home after school maybe, and okay. That's where at the end of that you break the photo frame and find out that okay, that's actually your possibly your grandfather, and then your next thing is okay, now you're running, trying to get away from the rest of the family, trying to get...
Right, okay, so I'm picturing, a scene where literally you've got all the family members chasing you and stuff, and you're having to go through this, like, really tricky side-scrolling section on the roofs of this village in Mexico, down to the, sliding under things, jumping over things. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm picturing almost Prince of Persia sort of...
Okay. I'm very much thinking like Aladdin sort of style, platform, but just because of what they did with that. Like, just because of the similarities there. But, yeah, it could be.
And how vertical the fucking level went.
Yeah, they did in Aladdin, for sure. Yeah, that's cool. Is there any sort of, like, are you jumping on the heads of people? Like, what are you... I mean, obviously, there's not much combat in the movie. Like, do you bring in any sort of attacks or anything, or it's mostly around just platforming prowess?
It's mostly around platforming. It's sort of like, I think you can stun some people, but that's it. Like,
yeah,
you jump on their heads and it stuns them.
Yeah, okay. Well, I wonder if, like, once you get the guitar, and obviously you get transported at that point, I think, right?
Yes.
It's obviously been too long since I've seen the movie. Maybe you've got some cool guitar moves you can do to, like, add to your platforming. Maybe you bring in a bit of modern platforming sort of stuff where, like, the guitar gives you a dash jump in the air or something, or, a bit of extra traversal that you can do by playing a cool chord.
Mm-hmm.
Or even just, like, hooking it onto things. It's not a precious instrument or anything.
Yeah, I just really like the idea of this, of just being able to, sort of see the movie Coco, but in like a really, like, twisted way.
Well, it's almost a demake at that point. We're bringing it down, particularly if we're going full on, like, SNES technology or Genesis technology, Mega Drive.
Mm-hmm.
This is like... Maybe you still... I feel like you've got that nice, smooth animation that those Disney games had, but it's all, like, just sprites.
Yeah, and it's really a, it's a bastardized version of the whole story, which is what those games really were. They were just...
yeah. Well, and you're, like, picking up fucking, like, what's the dog who ends up being a magical creature or whatever. Like, that's your lives. You just find the dog in the level and get a new life, get an extra life.
Yep.
Yeah, you're like gathering flower petals probably as your sort of collectible in all the levels.
You gotta find like the family members within each of the levels. Like they're like your hidden
hidden things. Yeah, for sure. Your different family members. Yeah. You've got little musical. I think you got little musical mini games in between where you like get up on stage and play. You know, or like play a song and get bonus points.
And there's like note pages that you can pick up along the way that add to the repertoire.
Add to your songbook of your grandpa's songs or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. I like it.
That is okay.
All right. So, sticking with Pixar, just because now you've got me in mind of that, but a different style game.
Okay.
I'm kind of thinking Up. Pixar's Up.
Okay.
But again, going with the classic style, like it's like a classic arcade game. And bringing that into either. Okay, so I had a couple of things here. Do you remember the old DuckTales game where you were like trying to beat the other person to get the most treasure?
Yes.
Yeah, so almost something like that where you're on the journey, right? Like you're flying your house, but you're sort of doing little missions in between that are like platforming or a maze or whatever, right? A shooting mission.
Yep.
Like run away from the dogs, shoot down the blimp. Again, taking liberties with the story in every way possible.
So you know what I think it should be is it's that part of the movie in between when they took off and they landed at this at like the
river
island or whatever,
falls or whatever. Yeah.
It's the entire
it's the trip. It's the whole trip. Okay, so you're just flying the whole time, but like having to like dodge shit and
but you see something on the way and you decide to drop down there and you can do a little bit of a search around there and then you can set off again and like you don't necessarily know exactly where you're going.
Yeah.
I like the idea that you got to actually find out where you're going by dropping down and landing in all these places.
Okay, so you're like orienteering.
You're also like searching for treasure, doing like raiding tombs and shit while you're down there.
The only issue I have with that is like it's only the old guy and the boy at that point, right? Because they haven't found the other characters, Russell and Carl. Yeah. Which is fine. And maybe you've got some moves, like, again, if we're sort of going the classic old Super Nintendo style, Russell's your little quick small one and he can get down, climb up ledges and do things and whatever.
It's a two-player version of, two character version of Lost Vikings.
Yeah, almost. Or I just had the thought it's a fucking escort mission. They're all escort missions. No, I guess Carl's not that useless. He's got his cane with his tennis balls on the end. Like he can fight things off. He can reach things with the cane. Yeah, you're having to like go through these levels, but they're like full on platformy levels. So it's like, Carl hooks his cane onto the pulley and Russell grabs onto him and they slide across the pit on the chain. And then, Russell bounces on a trampoline to get up high and collect the treasure.
And things that they're collecting along the way is also more balloons. And more helium tanks.
Yeah. That's how they got, because there's no way balloons wouldn't have just popped or got lost or whatever on the way. They collect more balloons, they collect more helium. I love this.
In one of the levels, you go down into the helium mines.
The helium mines? Yeah, totally. There's helium smugglers that you got to try to you steal it from.
They have all these balloons that they just keep on sucking the helium out of and talking to high
well, they're down in caves. They're down in caves and there's more helium in the air than oxygen. So everyone's just talking all high voiced. Come out! I heard you there. Who was that? It's like stealth stuff. Shoot up!
Fucking helium mines. Jesus Christ.
All right. I think we've got time for one more.
Oh, damn you. I was hoping
It's
that you wouldn't
yours.
say that.
No, it's yours. Unless I can think of something better, faster, but I probably can't. Given my history.
Oh, I'm kind of in a horror film mood.
Yeah.
Like a horror mood. So, what Stephen King property haven't we touched?
Maybe,
Ooh,
Trevor's
I don't know what we'll do with it, but this is
right.
something a little bit interesting.
Okay.
Bargain Hunt.
Bargain Hunt? What is that?
Have you never heard of the like reality TV show Bargain Hunt?
No.
Where you go around like this, or contestants on this program, they go around like this markety sort of thing, trying to find knickknacks that they can buy, and then try to sell them at auction.
Okay, and make money off it, basically.
And make money off it.
Is this still going?
Oh, it's like, I just saw it on,
Oh, I see. There's like different versions. Oh my God, there's 1,600 episodes.
Yeah.
It's been going for 55 series, it says.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess it's the UK, so like, it's obviously not yearly series, but Jesus, okay. No, I've never heard of this. Mm-hmm. But I guess I got some binging to do. Oh, God, it started in 2000 and it's still going.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. All right. Okay,
I just thought, okay, let's see. Can we actually do something with this?
No, this is cool. I could kind of picture this as almost a bit of a casual game where you're presented with a scene from an antique shop and you've got a certain amount of money and you need to sort of like judge, all right, what am I going to spend this $3.70 on or whatever. Or there's $50. I'm going to spend $50 on this stuff.
And so you got to sort of go, okay, so I know that we're going to go to this sort of antique place to actually sell stuff.
Right, yeah.
I reckon I could haggle this down to this amount and I reckon I could sell it for this.
Okay, so you've got like a haggling mini game to get it for a good price. And then I think you've got a bunch of different factors because obviously you can't just buy junk and then sell it at a good price. Like you have to have a somewhat of a discerning eye, and maybe this comes over time. You start to learn like what will sell better, or what will sell better at different places, or and obviously every now and then you fucking hit the jackpot, and it's like this was the one of a kind, precious, music box, that was thought lost by the Princess of Geomeria, and it's worth $30 billion. How much did you pay for it? $250. But like in general, it's about sort of just having an eye for these things.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Are you doing it as if it's the TV show? An episode?
Yeah, I think
you've got presenters.
I think it's basically you've got your presenter, and basically he sort of tells you how well you sort of chose your stuff. He has like his little thing of, well, actually, one of the things that you looked at, would have made a mint because, it was mislabeled as this sort of stuff. And
yeah. Okay, I gotcha.
But what you chose was a fake. It's a piece of shit.
It's a piece of shit. You lose. Sorry, just amused that they've got like Bargain Hunt famous finds where they had celebrities on, but of course because of the like cultural differences between like the local, the UK kind of celebrity pool, it's just all these names I do not recognize.
Yeah,
and I'm just amused that they're mostly like they're just very British names a lot of the time as well.
Yeah,
you just kind of imagine who these people are, but anyway. Okay, I like it.
So we can go with that, or I did have one other idea that just popped into my head.
Sure.
And it's one of the things that I think was missing from Sea of Thieves was like the actual having to like crack codes on a map, kind of like a Treasure Island sort of thing. Of you've got a map, you've just arrived on the island and you've got to like follow the clues to find find the treasure on this island.
Yep. So is this a tie into something, or this is just an idea you had?
Just an idea that I had that could actually be, sort of like almost a procedurally generated island.
Yeah.
I'm sort of thinking along the lines of, your City of Brass or whatever, that everything sort of gets generated, but what actually happens is the map gets generated and the clues based on the map, so that you're heading round, having to try and follow these clues to get to where the treasure is, and there's some traps and shit along the way.
Yeah.
Almost picking off like my favorite scenes from like I was just thinking about the episode of Rick and Morty where they the heist episode.
Yeah.
Where they went into the thing at the start, and they're like, okay, booby traps, anti-booby trap device, and all the booby traps are going off and all that sort of stuff.
Well, could this be, like, Sea of Thieves, obviously multiplayer, could this be a situation where it's almost like I was going to say it's almost like a battle royale. It's not. It's not 100 people getting jumped on an island, but I'm thinking like it's 4 people getting, like, coming to shore on this island all at the same time, and
in different locations, and it's a race to like get the treasure. Yeah.
Or you could potentially take the other people out, but I think this isn't. You're not finding tons of weaponry, right? Like, you've got your little sidearm, which is the classic old, fucking pirate style, inaccurate sort of thing.
Yep. You got your shovel and
your map. And you might even have different, like, things on them. You don't even necessarily start with the same map, right? Like, you've got... They obviously all point to the same place, but you've got different sections of them or something.
Yep.
So it could be that, all right, my strategy is I'm going to take out at least one other person, because their map combined with mine is going to, like, give me a better clues to the treasure. But that's also risky. Like, getting any combat is risky. It may be that just following the clues is going to be better.
Yeah, I do kind of like the idea of you do have four pieces of the map, and all four people have a different piece of the map, and therefore taking out the other people is your only way of getting more pieces of the map. Or you can, form an alliance with someone and, go to split the treasure, but then when you get to the end, then they take you out.
Backstab them. Yeah, okay, yeah. That could be an interesting thing, because, do you backstab or don't you? Like, because they get a chance. Like, I don't think you can ever give anyone the situation where it's just like, if you backstab, the other person doesn't have any chance to do anything. But you've got a bit of a, like, prisoner's dilemma or whatever, where it's like, okay, maybe it's that you either choose to backstab or not before sort of the end, and it's the whole thing of, like,
if you both choose to backstab, then you both die.
Then you both get nothing. Yeah. But if one of you chooses to backstab, you get less or something. I don't know, for some reason. But if you both... Yeah. Well, that doesn't make sense, because if you both choose to not backstab, you're not going to get more stuff. But... Yeah. But anyway, some sort of little dilemma like that. I like that idea.
Yeah. I like the idea of this island being fucking huge, though. Like...
Pretty huge. I don't think it's impossible that you just run into each other, but I think chances are you're not going to find each other unless you... Like, maybe you can do something where you can sort of, like, sniff out their campfires or something. Like, I don't know, maybe you've... I guess it depends on how long a round goes for.
Yeah.
Because this almost is a battle royale puzzle game, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a 25-minute round, and I think you do need to have a way to solve it just by following your clues, but you're going to have to go through more clues, basically. So it could be, you get on the island, so, all right, my first clue is find the rock that looks like this, and it's, 10 paces south, and dig there. So it's like, okay, look around, use your binoculars, use your map. All right, okay, it's over there, dig. All right, I've got my next clue. Basically, it fills out the map a little bit more. All right, now, look south, follow the wind at daybreak. I don't know, whatever. You come up with these clues. Whereas if you just went and killed everyone, you'd have the entire map and could go straight to the treasure. But it's really risky to do that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That is cool. Okay, let's call it there.
I think we'll call it there. This has been a late one for us. We recorded 2 in one night. So if you want to find us online, We are at podchaser.com/bitstorm. That's where you can find all our bits and pieces, including our previous 150 plus episodes. Check them out. Go visit the backlog. Tell us what you think. Leave us ratings and reviews. All that good stuff. We are also part of the 8-Bit Collective, which is a group of podcasts, both gaming related, pop culture related, and other. And we all kind of work together and hang out and do cool shit. So check them out at 8bit.net and check out some of those other podcasts.
We reckon you should check out the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. Just check out at AGP Network on Twitter or the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook. And finally, we'd like to thank Kuridas for the use of the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
Hells yeah. So,
hells to the yeah.
Thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
And this is actually the bad place.